Are those photographs of your office inside and outside, or your office from the inside and outside of Otto Miller Hall?
Yes, they are.
And do they fairly and accurately represent what your office in Otto Miller Hall look like?
Yes, they do.
And the state moves to admit 32 through 39.
No objection.
Admitted?
May I publish?
Yes.
Thank you. On the screen is the same as what's in front of you, Professor Boulding, as State's Exhibit 32. Can you describe a little bit to the jury of what they're looking at here?
Sure. This is the outside of Otto Miller Hall. The sidewalk is on 3rd Avenue there. You're looking at the entryway. The entryway is just behind and to the right of the pillar, the column you can see there. Above that, the corner that comes out is the corner of my office.
And looking now at State's Exhibit 33, is that your office?
Yes, it is.
And 34, the outside of your office?
Yes, it is.
And what about 35?
Yes.
Is that, we can see a window in there. Is that the window of your office that overlooks the street?
Yes, those windows look over the sidewalk by 3rd Avenue.
So is that where you were looking out from when you saw
Yes, it
the
is.
man on the ground? Okay. And 36 is an interior of that office?
Yes, it is.
And what are we looking at in 37?
This is the upstairs lobby. So the stairs come up from the downstairs lobby. You can see the large windows out there. So my office is on the right side, the area of the windows back there. You can see the windows go around the corner, so I have views both outside into the street and into the lobby.
Basically your office like just all windows?
Yes, 2 of the walls are windows.
And what are we looking at in 38?
This is the upstairs lobby, the large student workspace. It would be taken from the point of view of just close to my office.
So those staircase at the end there, the same staircase going down into the lobby?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and then it State's Exhibit 39.
Yes, this is just the view from the opposite end.
So that's looking back towards your office, is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
And now I'm going to hand you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit 40 and 41. Are you aware that there are cameras inside Otto Miller Hall?
Yes.
And 40 and 41, do you recognize those as being stills from the camera system inside Otto Miller Hall?
Yes.
And are you on those stills?
Yes, I am in both of them.
And the state offers 40 and 41?
No objection.
They're admitted?
Looking at State's Exhibit 40, are we looking at that same angle as we were just seeing in 39, essentially?
Yes, essentially.
Okay, so that's your office there?
It's my office in the back, yes.
And is that you in the background?
Yes, it is.
And for the record, can you read the date and timestamp on that slip?
2014, June 5th, and 3:25:12 p.m.
And now looking at 41, is that the still from the same angle of video camera?
Yes, it is.
And are you in that photo?
Yes, I am. I'm the person on the right.
With the light blue looking button down, kind of like the one
Yes.
you're wearing today?
Might be, yeah.
Do you recognize the student or the person with you? I'm sorry.
Yes, that is Chris Howard.
That's Chris Howard?
Yes.
And he is the one that you guys were not doing the lockdown?
Yeah,
and
we were being rebels.
And for the record, can you read the date and timestamp of that photograph?
June 5th, 2014, 3:32:28 p.m.
My understanding, and we've heard some testimony, is this occurred right as we were approaching finals week. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Did you all proceed with your finals, or how did the school handle that?
The school gave each professor the option of handling finals in whatever manner they felt was best. In my particular case, I first thought I was going to have a final, but then I wasn't able to sleep for a week. So I couldn't even create the final, much less sit there to give it. And I expect the students felt the same way. So I canceled my finals.
And when you said you couldn't sleep for a week, is that because of what you went through?
Yes, for the traumatic event.
Just one moment. That's actually all the questions I have. Thank you.
Cross-examination?
No questions.
All right, thank you. Professor, do you have some pictures here? Thank you. Your excuse.
Did you get back to your exhibit?
I did.
Oh, you got it. Okay, thanks. Next, the state calls Christopher Ramirez.
If you raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm, tell the truth? Okay. Please be seated.
Good morning, sir. Can you state your full name for the jury and spell it for the court reporter?
Sure. Christopher Daniel Rivera Ramirez.
How old are you, sir?
I'm 33.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an accountant in a local firm.
Say that again?
In a local firm.
Okay. Where did you attend school?
That was between 2012 and 2014. No, 2012, 2016.
You went to school from 2012 to 2016?
Let me do the math again.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Well, let me ask, when did you graduate?
2016, last June. That's
Where did
easier.
you graduate from?
Accounting.
What school?
SPU.
Okay. There's some water right behind you if you want, sir.
Okay, thanks.
As an accounting major, where did you take your classes? All over or in a certain building?
No, I took my classes in McKenna building. I only took like one class in Otto Miller, so that was my major class.
What was the class that you took in Otto Miller Hall?
It was engineering.
In engineering?
Engineering.
So what, do you recall when the shooting occurred back in 2014?
What was the question again?
Do you recall the day of the shooting back in 2014?
If I recall it,
Yes, you remember that day?
yeah, I remember
Okay.
the day.
You remember what year you were then?
I was a junior.
And had you been attending that engineering class in Otto Miller Hall that day?
Yeah, that was the same day that class was scheduled, so it was after my class that I went down
After your class, you went down where?
to the lobby. The class was on the second floor.
Do you remember what time your class got over and you went down to the lobby?
It was over at 2:50. Yeah, so I stayed in the lobby for 30 minutes.
What were you doing?
I was working on my computer, budgeting, next class assignments, homework, listening to music. So a lot of things.
Tell us, we know a little bit, but tell us about the lobby, like where were you sitting and what's the layout there?
I was sitting a little bit in the middle, just towards the right side if you're facing the street, and right just close to the wall.
And the couches, chairs,
There wasn't a
tables?
couch. Yeah.
Do you so you were you looking? I think you said listening to music. Is that right?
Yeah.
You have your headphones in.
Yes, I had my headphones.
Did you have a laptop?
Yes, I was using my laptop.
What happened? Why don't you just tell us what you remember from that day?
So while I was working on my computer, I wasn't paying attention to what was happening around me until I heard the shotgun. I looked up and I saw Ybarra, and he was pointing at the girl. I just looked at the girl's face and she was shocked. She took her arms to her chest. After that, I looked at the other guy next to me. It wasn't next to me, it was just on my right. And he stood up and ran towards the hallway. So I did the same after.
Okay. So you're listening to headphones in the lobby, and I think you said you heard the shotgun. Is that right?
Yeah.
What had you heard anything that drew your attention? Well, let me ask. When you looked up, you said you saw Aaron Ybarra.
Yeah.
Do you recognize him from that day?
I mean, that was the first time that I saw him,
Yeah.
but yeah, I can remember his face.
Okay. So had you heard anything prior to that shotgun shot? Did you hear anything going on outside or anything like that?
No.
Did you hear anybody say anything that drew your attention before you heard the shotgun?
No. I was, as I said, listening to music, so.
Was it loud when the...
Oh, not for me.
Not-
I don't think it was pretty loud because you're gonna hear the music if you take your headphones out, but I didn't hear what was happening around.
Okay.
So
So you first looked up when you heard the gun,
yes,
and then you said you saw the girl.
yeah, I saw Aaron and the girl.
Tell us about the girl.
So she looked shocked.
Where was she? Where did you see her when you look up? What are you looking at?
In front of me, kind of the same distance where you are right now.
And describe her. What was she doing? You said she looked shocked.
I can tell that she was looking at me because I saw her face. It was just for 1 second, so that was it. So she didn't say anything, I didn't say anything. That was it.
And then you looked at the person you described as Aaron Ybarra. And what was he doing at that time?
He was pointing at her.
Do you remember what the gun looked like?
It was a shotgun.
Are you familiar with guns?
No, but I recognize a shotgun.
Okay, so it's a big gun, and it was pointed directly at her still.
Yeah,
How far away from her was he?
you could say 3 meters. I'm sorry, I used a meter.
When you looked at him, did you look at his face?
Yeah,
What did he look like?
he looked pretty serious. I didn't see any emotion at all. He wasn't smiling. He was just serious. No feelings.
Could you tell whether that girl had been shot or not? Like, did you see any blood or anything?
No, I didn't see any blood.
Did you see what she did? Like, if she just, what happened? What was the last thing you saw her doing?
I just saw her standing up. I didn't see her walking. I didn't stay to see more. So that was the last thing that I saw.
And then you said you saw another guy run, is that right?
Yeah, because he stood up first and I stood up later. So I couldn't believe what was happening.
You said he went down a hallway?
Yeah, on the right.
Okay.
There are 2 hallways. So
And when you saw him run, what did you do?
I took off my headphones and I stood up and ran as well.
Where'd you go?
Same way as he did on my right hallway.
Did you know the girl?
No,
Did you know the guy that got up and ran?
no,
And the guy that had the gun, you said you hadn't seen him before, is that right?
that's right.
So Where, did you run outside the building or did you stay in the building?
I wasn't very familiar with the building. I just tried to go to the back of the building. I knew there were some classrooms there. And when I was running, I ran into a professor and I asked her if there was an exit. She said yes, so we took the exit. It was on the back of the building.
Where'd you go?
We went to a local business. I don't remember what the business was about, but we stayed there for a while until we made sure everything was clear.
How did you do that? Like, what made you feel comfortable to leave?
There were people talking about that. When they say the police has arrived, we feel safe and we just look before going to the building, and we saw a lot of cops outside the building. So that might be the signal for me. So I went to them and stayed what I saw.
When you ran in the business, you don't remember what business it was?
No.
Is it like a restaurant or some other?
No, it wasn't a restaurant. Maybe a manufacturing business. I cannot tell what kind of business it was.
And did you tell them what you had seen, or did you just go and stay there?
Well, there was a door opened, and we just went into the building or the business and explained what happened, and they were pretty nice, and they just let us stay there until we went
So I'm
out.
going to show you a couple of pictures.
And so states exhibits 42 through 45.
That first witness down?
Yes.
So I'm going to show you first what's been marked for identification as States Exhibit 42. Were you aware then, or are you aware now, that there are surveillance videos in Otto Miller Hall?
I didn't know at that time. I know now.
Okay. And 42 is a still, does that appear to be a still from a surveillance video?
Yeah.
And does it show the room where you were in?
Yes.
Okay. Does it show you?
My leg.
Okay. Your Honor, the state moves to admit 42.
No objection.
To admit it?
Now I'm going to hand you what's been marked for identification as 43 through 45. And let me know if you recognize the area and the belongings that are pictured in this photograph.
I do recognize all the areas.
And those fairly and accurately represent where you were sitting and your belongings that day?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Your Honor, the state moves to admit 43 through 45.
No objection.
They're admitted.
On the screen now is what's been admitted as States Exhibit 42, and I'll hand you that. Can you describe for the jury what we're looking at in that photograph?
Yeah, that's the Ramirez lobby. You will see a water bottle, one of the small round desks. You can see my leg, that's actually me, my water bottle.
And actually,
the other guy.
Mr. Ramirez, with the court's permission, can the witness come step down? Why don't you come down
Yes.
and point out your leg to the jury, please? That's you.
That's it.
Okay. And so can you see stay down there for a minute. Can you see the man that you saw get up and run in this photograph?
Yes.
Can you point him out? Okay. You're pointing to the only other student or only other person we can see in that room. When you looked up, where did you see the girl? kind of by the stairs?
Yeah,
And where was the man with the gun?
right here.
A little bit closer to the door?
Yeah,
And can you see in here sort of the direction of the hallway you and the other man ran?
yeah. We both went to this hallway, this area.
You can go and have a seat. And sir, can you read for the record the date and time stamp that's on the on State's Exhibit 42?
2014, June 5th, 3:24 p.m.
Looking now at 43, is that a photograph of kind of the same area where you were sitting?
Yes,
And let me ask, there's a hallway on the right side of that photograph. Is there a similar hallway on the other side that you all ran down?
yes,
And can you see your belongings there in State's Exhibit 43?
yes, I do.
And looking at 44 and then 45, is that your stuff?
Yes,
That's all the stuff you left behind?
yeah.
Just one moment, sir. Those are the only questions I have. Thank you.
Cross-examination?
Mr. Ramirez, thank you for coming in today. I just have a quick follow-up. You were describing the face of the shooter when you had those few seconds to glimpse it. And if I heard you right, you said it was really not showing any emotion?
That's right.
And you've described that before as an emptiness, have you not?
Yes.
No further questions. Thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Day?
Nothing for the Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You're all done. Do you have any photographs here? Yes, once passed it. Thank you. Your excuse. Well, why don't you all stand and stretch for a moment? All right, please be seated. You raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth? Please be seated.
Tell us your name for your first and last name.
My name is Cara Gray, Karay.
And where do you work?
I work at Seattle Pacific University.
What do you do there?
I'm an assistant professor of physics.
How long have you been at SPU?
4 years now.
And where is your office located?
Otto Miller Hall,
Okay, is it on the first floor or the second floor?
the first floor.
And if you're walking into the lobby from outside, is it
Mhm.
on the left hallway or the right hallway?
It's on the left hallway.
Okay. Given that you're someone who does physics, do you feel comfortable drawing a diagram of the first floor of Otto Miller Hall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Diagram like I did.
Okay.
It won't be artistic.
That's okay. Just to give us our bearings, if you would,
Okay.
and I probably should get this card too. Go ahead.
Why don't you go ahead and draw first, and then she
And then
can
you can
describe
explain
it
it.
after.
Right.
Oh,
It's okay.
don't talk my way through the diagram as I
Good.
draw it?
Correct.
Okay.
And Ms. Richardson, if you want to take a number from
Oh,
from Mr. Roberts.
Thank you.
Number 46.
Okay, satisfied with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you, let's stand right here, if you would, and talk us through what you've drawn.
Okay. Sorry. So, this is the north side of the building.
And you're talking,
At the top.
Thank you for the record, the top.
So when you come in, you're immediately entered into a entryway that has double doors on both sides. This is where our student workers sit. There's a window, and this is a conference room. Usually you come straight in the doors and go past a couple of offices, our building administrator's office. This is kind of our supply room that's separated into two rooms, the mailboxes.
At this point, you're gesturing to the side of the photo
Yep.
on the right.
This is the first professor's office. It was Modest Vocos at the time, John Hostler now. This is my office, and I, at the time, shared it with Leslie DeWater.
Okay.
You can also come this way and go down basically an identical hallway. This is classrooms. Or you can come into the lobby area. This is a lowered region of the floor.
That's the sunken area of the lobby with tables and chairs? Or-
Yes, it was mostly couches at
Couches
the
and
time.
chairs.
We've now put in a lot of tables.
New furniture, okay.
Yeah.
So that, just for the record, that's the curved area that you've drawn?
Yeah.
Okay, and could you write in where the security office is? And could you write in where the outside street would be?
That's
Okay, thank you.
not a main thoroughfare. It doesn't go through.
Okay, you can go ahead and retain your seat, thank you. Wow, now, you said that you share an office, is that right?
I did at the time.
Okay, and was that with another professor?
Yes.
Okay.
She's our resident master teacher.
Okay.
States 47 and 48 are marked.
Okay, I'm going to hand you what's been marked, states 47 and 48. Could you take a look at those and tell us what they show?
This is my office.
And your area is, as you're looking at, say, 47, where is your area? Since you split it with her at the time.
My desk is the one that's on the left of the picture.
Okay.
It's the chair that you see the back of, not the front.
Okay. Offer 47 and 48.
No objection.
Submitted.
Okay, I'm going to put those up on the screen briefly.
Now you're looking at, my chair is the one facing you.
Okay.
And now
Your
you're
chair.
looking at the back of my chair.
Okay, got it. So
On the
you're
left.
sort of perpendicular to the door? Or,
Yes.
is that right?
Yeah.
Is that a physics term? You're right next to the door?
Yes, I
Okay,
am.
Gotcha.
You can just see my keyboard
Okay.
off to the side of the screen right there.
Okay, I want to direct your attention to June 5th of 2014. Were you working that day?
Yes.
And about 3:30 in the afternoon, where were you?
I was at my desk, taking a break, sending emails.
And did anything happen that drew your attention?
Something did, I have no idea what. So, all I know is that I happened to glance out my door. My door was not open as much as it was in that picture. It was only open about 3 to 4 inches.
Something that you can't quite say what it was drew you to look out your door?
To look out my door, which then means I'm looking right at the doors to the building.
Okay. And can you see the lobby from there?
Not really.
Okay. But you
Just
can see
mainly
the
the
entrance doors?
Mhm.
All right. And what did you see?
There was a man standing right inside the last doors, so he was standing in the lobby, and he was holding something, a gun.
Do you know what kind of gun it was?
No, it was a long gun.
Shotgun type?
Yeah.
And how was he holding it?
He was holding it out so that it was parallel to the ground. So he was holding it horizontally, but not pointing in front of him, pointing to the side.
And could you tell if he was holding it with one or two hands?
One.
What was your first impression when you saw that? What did you think?
My first impression was that he was a student that had brought a very realistic looking water gun or Nerf gun into the building. The students often play games, organized games with water guns or Nerf guns. And I was very frustrated that somebody had made such a realistic water gun.
So what did you do?
I wasn't sure what to do. I started to get up to tell him that that was not a good idea to bring in something so realistic to a school.
Did you actually leave your office?
No.
Why not?
He started to talk.
And what did he say?
He told everybody to stay calm, but that he had just shot someone outside. That's when I realized it wasn't, that it was real.
And can you describe his voice as he was saying that?
Calm?
Was it loud, a shout, or?
No, it was a projected voice, like you would use in the classroom so that everybody could hear you in the room.
So what did you do?
I slowly got up because he didn't appear to be looking down my hall, and pushed my door closed, and then grabbed the landline to call campus security.
Can you describe, just from when you saw him, his demeanor, what you noticed?
In control. Perhaps a little agitated, but in control, calm.
When you shut your door, what did you think was going to happen?
Honestly, I thought he was taking us hostage.
So when you called security, were you able to get through?
Yes.
And what did you do then?
So I told them that there was somebody in the building with a gun, and then I hid under Leslie's desk.
And how long did you stay there?
It felt like forever. It was probably 5 minutes.
And did you hear anything else while you were waiting under the desk?
I heard a gunshot. I heard scuffling. I heard somebody crying.
Could you tell where it came from?
Not right outside my door, so not in my hallway, in the lobby or the other hallway of the building.
So while you're hiding under your desk and you hear this shot, for the period of time that you were there, did you know whether the person was still in the building or where he was in the building?
No, I didn't know.
What happened after that?
I started to hear voices, especially voices that sounded like they were coming over a radio. So they had the crackle that you would associate with a radio noise or a walkie-talkie. And I started hearing what I would describe as calm, authoritative voices along with those. So, and it became pretty clear, I guess not only from the sounds I was hearing, but I think from the things that I was saying, that it was police or firemen. And so I eventually, when I couldn't handle it anymore, so I got up and slowly opened my door, and there was a police officer standing outside my door.
What do you mean that you couldn't handle it anymore?
I was so anxious, so nervous, and so upset. I knew that I was supposed to stay in my office until they came to get me, but I couldn't be in my office anymore. I needed to get outside.
And there was a police officer there?
Yes.
So where did you go from there?
He pointed me toward the door, so I walked past the lobby, out the doors, the double doors, into the street, and then turned to the right into the parking lot.
Okay. And did you meet up with him?
Once I was in the parking lot,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I met up with two of my colleagues, Dr. John Lindberg, at the time Abby Dane, now Dr. Abby Dane, and my student Cabrina Kid was also out there.
And when you're talking about the parking lot, are you talking about the one that's in the back of the building?
No,
Which
I'm
parking lot?
talking about the one that's on 3rd and Nickerson.
Okay.
It would be on the right side of the piece of paper. It's toward the south of the building.
So is that sort of a large parking lot that serves the entire campus, as opposed to just Otto Miller?
Well, yes, it's not that big. Not mostly, it's OMH people that park there.
Okay. Where did you go from there?
From there, we were. I was separated from Abby and John and Cabrina, and I ended up in the student union building, the sub. I was in there for several hours with a lot of other students who I learned some had been in the sub when the building went in lockdown, and some, like me, had been in Otto Miller Hall.
Okay. And when you talk about lockdown, what are you talking about?
After exiting the building, we were in lockdown for about 2 hours before they lifted the lockdown and let us go. The lockdown was put in place while I was under the desk.
What is a lockdown?
A lockdown is when they have us close campus. We are told through messages that come on our cell phones. We're sent text messages, and it says SPU alert. It says the campus is in lockdown, and to secure the building, it means to lock your doors if you're in the campus. If you are not in a building, then you're told to immediately leave campus, and you stay there.
So you were in lockdown at the sub for a couple of hours?
2 hours, yes.
All right. And during that time, did you know whether the shooter had been apprehended?
I knew the man that I had seen was apprehended because when I had left my office and was pointed towards the door, there he was face down on the floor with officers there. So I knew he had been apprehended.
Did you know if there might be a second shooter?
I knew that was the police's concern. I had no knowledge of a second shooter.
We could have just a moment.
Yes.
And State's Exhibit 49 is marked.
Professor Gray, when you talked about the man with the gun saying, "Stay calm, but I just shot somebody outside," do you remember him saying anything else?
I think he said something like, no one will get hurt.
Okay. Thank you, nothing else.
Cross-examination?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Professor, you're all done. Thank you. You're excused.
He calls Cabrina Kid.
You may go right through there. The members of the jury, today our lunch hour again is from 12 to 1:30, so I'll have you back here at 20 minutes after 1 o'clock to continue this afternoon. You raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Please be seated here.
Good morning, ma'am. Can you state your full name and spell it for the court reporter?
Cabrina Rose Kid, K-A-B-R-I-N-A, R-O-S-E-K-I-D-D.
Miss Kid, how old are you?
I'm 21.
Do you go to school or do you have a job?
I'm a senior at Seattle Pacific University.
Have you gone to SPU all 4 years?
Yes.
What's your major?
Integrated Studies.
What does that mean?
It means elementary ed.
Back in 2014, did you know a Professor Abby Dane?
Mm-hmm. I worked for her.
You worked for her. What does that mean? What did you do for her?
I was a learning assistant in her physics class, so I helped facilitate discussions and answer student questions, grade papers.
Does Professor Dane still work at SPU?
I believe so, but I think she's on maternity leave right now.
Okay. What class were you a learning assistant for Professor Dane?
It's called the Physics of Sound.
What building was it in?
Otto Miller Hall.
Were you in Otto Miller Hall when the day the shooting occurred?
Yes.
Can you tell us what you remember about that day?
I had just finished the class with Abby Dane, and I was having some difficulty with some student comments, some feedback that the students had given, and Abby was talking to me about it, but she had to go, so we started walking to her office to continue talking while she got ready to leave. On the way up the hall, I sort of saw out of the corner of my eye a guy at the front door of Otto Miller, and I kind of noticed he had a gun, but I didn't really register it because Auto Miller Hall is the engineering building, and I figured there was some sort of physics demonstration or something. And we turned the corner on the left to go into her office, and as she was unlocking the door, we heard a really loud pop that at first we thought was maybe like a large balloon or something. And I turned around to see what it was, and I saw, I think I actually saw the girl first. And there's the girl who was like, it looked like she was kind of hyperventilating, and she started to turn around towards my direction, and I saw that she had blood running down her leg, and I kind of looked past her and saw a man with a gun, and I said something to Abby about someone got shot or they're shooting at us or something like that, and I pushed her into the office, and we closed the door and locked it from inside, and I kind of dove under a desk, and we called the police.
I want to go back to your first statement that you were walking and you kind of saw the corner of your eye somebody with a gun. What did you see? I know that was just a glance, but tell us if you can describe how that person was standing or acting in that moment before you heard the pop.
At that time, when I first saw them, it looked like they probably had just come in, and they were just like holding the gun down like this, and that's about it.
And for the record, holding the gun down like this, so you're kind of pointing more towards the ground, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't like raised or anything.
Did you hear that person or anything say anything, or did you register anybody saying anything at that point?
No.
And then I think you said you turned to the left toward Professor Dane's office, is that right?
Yes.
So that's sort of away from the door area?
Mm-hmm.
And then you heard a loud pop.
Yeah.
Did you hear anybody say anything before that loud pop, or is that the next thing that registered?
That's the next thing that registers.
And you turn around and I think you said you saw the girl first, is that
Mm-hmm.
right?
I think I saw her first.
You have a memory of seeing her and you think that was what you first saw?
Yeah.
Where was she in relation to you?
A few yards in front of me, kind of on a slight diagonal.
So not far from you?
No.
And the person with the gun, that was a man, right?
Yes.
Where was he in relation to her in relation to you?
He was a few more yards from her, so probably 5 to 10 yards from me.
Ms. Kid, I'm going to ask you at the board's permission to step down and kind of diagram where you were, the girl was, and where he was, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to come over here, and I think it's easiest if you kind of sketch out, and then you turn around and show the jury what you're talking about. Is that okay? All right, go ahead. So, hold on, wait for me. Okay. Once you have stand on this side over here, make sure your voice carries and that everybody behind you can see as well. And tell us what we're looking at
Why
here.
don't you put the number on there?
For the record, this is State's Exhibit 50.
So this is the hallway that I was walking up, and this is about where the office is. And that's me, there's a stairwell right here, and that's about where the girl was, and this is the door to Otto Miller, and that's where the man was.
I'm going to have you write me, girl, man, so that we remember later. So this location where you've indicated the man was, is that where he was when you first caught that glimpse, or after you saw the girl, or both?
Both.
Okay, so he hadn't moved very much in your recollection?
He may have like turned a little bit, but he was basically in the same place.
Okay, you can go ahead. I think you said you saw, did you recognize the girl at all? Is that someone you knew?
No, I've never met her before.
And I think you said she was hyperventilating, is that right?
That's the best way I can describe it. She was breathing in and out really fast.
Was she facing you, or which direction was she facing?
She started out facing away from me, and I could hear her breathing, and then she turned towards me and started to kind of like lean over.
And I think you said you saw blood, is that right?
Yes.
Is that when she turned towards you?
Yeah, as she turned towards me.
And you say you saw it running down her leg? Is that what you
Yeah.
said? Where was it coming from, could you tell?
No, I think it was somewhere up here.
Did she say anything?
No.
When you then looked at the man, what was he doing this time when you saw him?
He had the gun back down. I thought maybe he was reloading or something.
What made you think that?
I'm not sure. I think it was mostly the position of the gun.
Did he say anything at that point?
No.
Could you see any expression on his face? Could you see his face?
I think I could see it from a profile, and it just looked kind of blank.
Did you see anybody else around, any other students or faculty or people at all?
I don't remember registering that. I probably, out of my periphery, saw some people milling around in the lobby as I was walking up, but after I heard the shot, I don't remember registering any other people.
You said you pushed your professor into the office, is that right?
I think so, yeah.
How long between, like how long did you stop and look at the girl and the man before you did that?
It couldn't have been more than 30 seconds or so.
And what did you guys do in the room?
Once we got in, she pushed the, like push button lock, and I hid under a desk, and she called the police, and I thought maybe I needed to call the police too, so I did so. But they picked up with her before they picked up with me, and since she was talking to them already, I just hung up. And then after she finished talking to the police, they called me back, and I talked to them for a few minutes, but I was pretty shaken up and I wasn't sure about all the information, so I handed the phone to Abby.
Did you, how long did you guys stay in that room?
5 minutes or less.
When did you leave and why?
We left because, well, actually we heard something outside, and Abby kind of wanted to like peek out the door and see what was going on, and I think at that point she saw the police there, and when we left it was because the police had arrived and they were escorting us all out of the building.
What were you guys, other than calling 911, what did you guys do when you were in that room?
Just cried and freaked out, and before we left I called my parents, but by that time the police had arrived already.
Did you see the man again when you were being escorted out of the building?
I think I remember seeing him kind of like on the ground being restrained or tackled, by the police or safety and security, I'm not sure. But I am not 100% positive if I actually saw that or if I'm just imagining that because I've heard people talk about it.
Okay, fair enough. When Abby tried to open the door, did you say anything to her? Remember?
When she tried to open the door to check out, I remember telling her not to.
How come?
Because I thought if we opened the door, that probably whatever commotion we heard was more shooting or something, and I thought if we opened the door, maybe they would come towards us.
After you were escorted out of the building, we heard the campus might have been in lockdown. What did you do then? Did you have to go into another building? Did you just leave?
They took us to a building called the Sub, the Student Union Building, and they had us as well as everybody else that was in Otto Miller in the lobby area until the lockdown ended.
Do you have a brother that went to school at SD at the time?
Yeah, my older brother Jeremy.
Did you see him that day?
Yes.
Where was he?
I saw him after the lockdown ended. He told me that he was in his dorm room at the time in Hill Hall, and he met me at the Student Union Building and walked me over to the gym to be interviewed by the police.
So he came and found you and took you to, and you were one of the people being interviewed in the gym?
Yeah.
Ms. Good, I'm going to play you the first few seconds of what's been marked for identification as States Exhibit 51 and see if you recognize it, okay?
phone dialed 911. Are you having an emergency?
I'm sorry, my...
Is that you?
Yes.
Is that the call you made from the office that day?
Yes. Well, actually, it's the call I answered.
You answered. So they called you back. Your Honor, the state moves to admit 51. No objection.
It's admitted.
This is Seattle Police. Your phone dialed 911. Are you having an emergency?
I'm sorry, my... The 911 phone, so I thought she'd hang up.
What's going on there?
Somebody shot someone.
Okay, where are you?
Speaking please.
Sorry, your phone's breaking up really bad. Where are you?
At Pacific University.
Okay.
And Bird.
Okay, and are you in Otto Miller Hall?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see who did the shooting?
I think so.
Okay. Where are you right now?
I'm in my professor's office.
Okay.
Professor.
Okay, and where was the shooter the last time that you saw them?
Standing in the front of Otto Miller Hall.
In front, outside?
No, in the main lobby of the building.
Okay. And how long ago did you see the shooter there?
How long ago? Probably 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay. Okay. And can you describe the person for me? What race were they?
It looked, probably...
Do you have dark hair and glasses?
Yes.
Okay. And the last time that you saw him, he was in the lobby, is that correct? Okay. Have you heard any noises since the original shooting? Have you heard any noises since the original shooting? Okay, where? Do you know what room number you're in? Okay. Still in the lobby, and what room are you in? Okay. Do you have eyes on him right now?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you see the shooter now?
No, we're in an office off to the side, and we're shut in here.
Okay.
And I don't think they know we're here, but there are people, there's a lot of screaming in the lobby right now.
Okay.
And I heard someone yell, "Everyone stand up." So I'm pretty sure it's still in here.
Okay.
And then someone stepped on me in hysterics.
Okay.